Good evening, members, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, just a reminder that the meeting is being recorded and live streamed. Ms Horgan, do we have any apologies for absence?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have apologies for absence from Councillor Mrs Egan, Councillor Warren Gibson, Councillor Hart, Councillor Blissett, Councillor John Anderson and Councillor Taylor.
Are there any declarations of interest? Okay. So, welcome to this special meeting. Item 3 is the Transforming Together the Council's Modernisation programme. And this meeting has been scheduled to bring forward a report to provide information to the Council on the transformation programme to bring about change to modernise the Council. Members have the report before us, and I will hand over to the Chief Executive to present the report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members, as Chief Executive, I have the statutory role of Head of Paid Service, which means that I'm responsible for pulling together the workforce that's necessary to deliver the Council's services and its statutory functions. Since I've been in post, I have been working with the Leader, Deputy Leader and Cabinet to work with the Local Government Association to undertake a review of the way in which the Council is currently set up and its workforce currently operates. As a result of that work, which is reported in the document you see in front of you, we've come to the conclusion that there are a number of areas of modernisation which need to be addressed in order to take the Council forward to the 21st century. These broadly coalesce around customer service, improvements in customer experience and the customer journey. In other words, whenever our customers and our residents deal with us, that their experience is a good one and that they receive the answers that they're looking for, and that the answers that they're looking for are easily found and provided to them. That there is greater resilience, autonomy and accountability within the workforce. In other words, making sure that we have the right people in the right place doing the right things at the right time. And that involves implementing something called a job evaluation or single status scheme to ensure that our workforce is fit for the future. The other strand for our modernisation approach is around digital investment and automation where necessary to enable those who can use technology to self-service wherever possible. And that means that more of our services will be available through a digital format 24/7, so not actually limited to when the council offices are open. That in itself will reduce transactional costs and improve transaction handling times, but also freeing up more time for those people who aren't able to access services digitally to ensure that our first contact team are able to help more people who need it over the telephone. So members, the Transforming Together programme has been conceived to address those issues, and you can see in the report there's a lot of information about how the programme is set up. Essentially there are 4 work streams. The first will look at organisation redesign, and this is whole organisation redesign from the top of the organisation to its front line. That is a structural HR piece of work which is based on the decision-making accountability principles identified by the Local Government Association and the tiers of management that it recommends that we should be adopting. It will involve deployment of local government single status as job evaluation to all tiers of staff to ensure that they are brought into line with other authorities and indeed the vast majority of the local government sector. It's very policy and process heavy, so it will involve us looking at all our HR policies and processes, making sure that they're fit for purpose and bringing them forward to the 21st century. And that will involve members working closely with the staff appointments panel to ensure that all those strategic HR aspects are properly overseen by members and recorded as part of the evolution of this council. The second work stream is around workforce development, because having restructured the organisation, it's important that we put in place the training and development and support for our staff so that they can perform their roles to the best of their ability. That we build in continuing professional education for those who are developing new skills or who are training for skills in professional or other specialised technical services. That there's career progression to enable us to bring people in at apprenticeship level or at the lower ends of the level and grow them through the organisation. skills development and succession planning more generally to ensure resilience, capability, skills and competencies going forward. The third work stream is new ways of working, and members, that is really around the digital investment piece. That is about service planning with customer focus at its heart, making sure that we can deploy digital technology to smooth and improve the process, to reduce double and sometimes triple handling of information, to improve security of information, to improve the speed of transactions and to improve the ability of the customer to get to their end goal with the least amount of attrition. And the fourth work stream, members, is around communications and engagement, very much an internal communications piece to support staff through that transformation journey. And the outputs of the plan, members, are intended to create this modernised, future-proof organisation that's fit for the 21st century, and an organisation in which the layers of management and investment are removed and reduced, but there is increased investment in frontline delivery, both in terms of kit and equipment, but also in terms of staff, and with a strong customer focus. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members, if you have any questions.
Are there any questions from members? Councillor Thornton.
Thank you. If I can be permitted, I've got some notes. I'd like to thank you for the transformation. It's been long awaited, and for various reasons we haven't been able to get there, and now we are. So I'm very pleased, and I'm also pleased that you're taking into account those residents that can't use the digital formats, because we do have an ageing population. However, I've got one question. Under point 6A, it states that payment will compromise a severance payment, only the statutory contractual payments which the council is legally required to pay, and the payments will not include any discretionary sums. To that end, the council is recommended to agree to the payment of legally required statutory contractual severance in relation to any redundancies that may arise from the organisation redesign work stream, which may exceed 100k. Now, it reads as if that is a delegated power for the officers, and I think as we're discussing such large sums of money, elected members should have the opportunity to scrutinise and vote on them individually, even if that's under private session. And the report doesn't give us the opportunity to go for that. So can I please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you. So the reason for that, Councillor, is because if a payment is due that's contractual or statutory, then the council has no discretion to vote on it. It is payable as a matter of law. So the purpose behind the recommendation is for you to give approval for that to be made without having to revert back to this forum, essentially, for a rubber stamp process. The transparency that you're talking about certainly comes through the governance of the programme and indeed the reporting into the staff appointments panel. So there are multiple opportunities where transparency is is available. Payments are made in relation to contractual or statutory requirements only where absolutely indicated through either redundancy, payment in lieu of notice, or because of other contractual requirements. So they are statutory required. There's no element of discretion. The way in which those sums are calculated is set out by law, and essentially if those were not paid by the organisation would be in breach.
Thank you. Can I come back on that? Yes?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. Can I ask, you say that they're coming back through the appointments board, so, and obviously they will be detailed in the financial accounts eventually. Is there any listing as this moves forward that we can have sort of reports so that we can see what's going on with regard to redundancy money?
So thank you, Councillor. As it's set out in the report, the programme governance reports to the programme review board on a quarterly basis. And so the programme review board has oversight of everything that's happening within the programme. The staff staff appointments panel has also a remit in relation to those strategic and impactful HR matters. So you have two forums which overlap. The programme governance requires me to report quarterly following the programme review board to Cabinet, so there's an additional layer of transparency there. So at that point you would see, Councillor, that those things are being paid. In terms of individuals, you're absolutely right, it would be a matter of confidentiality, so we would have to ensure that individuals' rights are protected, and we have an absolute duty to ensure that. But there are reporting mechanisms in place which can give the transparency that you're seeking without having to convene the whole of full council.
Thank you. Are there any other members' questions? If not, sorry, Councillor Ainsley.
Yeah, hi. Just for transparency and clarity, really, just want to make sure that everybody knows this is allocated in the budget.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ainsley. Yes, it is allocated in the budget, and of course, the whole point of investment in transformation is that it is paid back over a period of time. So it's whilst it may create a cash flow deficit that's budgeted for, the idea is that the payback period is part of the transformation programme, and that's what will be reported through the programme governance also.
Thank you. Councillor Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Section 4.3 refers to, and I quote, staff working in silos has led to poor communication. It also talks about a fragmented culture, and the council needs to be more proactive around communications and engagement with staff to give staff the voice that they feel they are currently lacking. My question is, has working from home contributed to this feeling of disengagement, and is it a practice that still continues? Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms Hutchins.
Thank you. So this was the feedback that the LGA received from the staff through the various interviews that they conducted. There is no indication that working from home is the cause of this. Goes back a lot further than that. This is a cultural issue which has evolved over very many years. So this is not related specifically to working from home. In fact, actually, we know that there are very positive associations with working from home. The policy which was developed during COVID to enable staff to work effectively from home now stands to be reviewed as part of this process to embrace hybrid working in a modern working environment, and hence some of the digital technology investment that we're looking at will improve the way in which that works, and also indeed even how we use our space.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Blackwell, do you have anything to say as leader?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just want to make some comments, really. The comments I would like to make is the fact that this council has been in a silo for 20 years. And so this new administration was determined to make two things. Was determined to make our residents the forefront of anything we've done in this borough. Also, most importantly, the staff. For the first time in 20 years, we've actually listened to our staff. And you've only got to look at the report and see what the staff have said about how this council's been run over the last 20 years. We are determined, through Angela and the staff who are there working, to totally transform the way this council runs. And I'm sure at the end of it, we'll have the right staff in place and we'll have the right way of working which suits our residents. We must put residents first. And we talk about transparency. Yes, of course we are. We're going to be open and transparent on everything we do. But I think the most important thing, you know, the staff have been sitting here for 20 years and no one's listening to them. And you read the report, and I've been here too for a long, long time. But staff have been telling me that for all them years. And when you read the LGA report of what was coming out from the staff, it was so obvious, you know, no one's listening. 6 tiers of management. You don't get any further. You know, you come up with an idea, but don't go no further than that. That's all going to change because we want to listen to our staff. They're at the front end They're the ones that actually are running this council, and they ought to know what's going wrong, and we're going to start listening. And I think for Angela and everybody else, there's going to be some massive changes in this council, and it's going to be better run council, run by our staff, run by our officers, and I think in the end the residents will see the changes take forward. So I'd just like to say I hope all members go along with what we're trying to do here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. So, as we see, we've got a very full and detailed report, and unless members wish to debate this, I'm going to ask the Council to agree the recommendations as set out in the report. Is everyone agreed? Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 4, the review of electoral arrangements update. Members, we have another report set before us, and I'm going to again hand over to the Chief Executive to report this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members, following on from Council in March, I wrote to the Local Government Boundary Commission as requested and received a response from them. Those letters are attached as appendices to the report in front of you. Also, in furtherance of that motion, I commissioned legal advice, which is also present but in the confidential appendix. And in the expectation, Madam Mayor, that it is this which members will wish to debate, I'd like just to remind members that the meeting will need to move into private and confidential before that can take place. Madam Mayor, I haven't any other conversation to bring it to members' attention at this point.
Okay. We move the meeting into private business to discuss that.
It needs to be seconded.
Can I get a seconder for that?
Yeah.
Lovely. So if I could ask members of the gallery just to step outside, recording will be stopped while we discuss that, and you can be invited back once we've finished.